If you've ever thought about how to be more productive or manage your time better, you've most likely come across the Pareto Principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. This video will explain this idea and teach you how to utilize it to your advantage. The Pareto Principle was first discovered by an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, when he noticed that 80% of the healthy peas in his garden was generated by 20% of the pea pods. He then noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by only 20% of the population. And so, the Pareto Principle states that in most situations, 20% of the efforts for an activity are responsible for 80% of the results. In other words, a small proportion of what you do holds the key to the majority of your successes, while the rest may not contribute as significantly. And we can see this concept everywhere in our daily lives. For example, 80% of a company's sales comes from 20% of the customers. 20% of the apps you use give you 80% of the entertainment. When it comes to clothes, you wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. The Pareto Principle shows up time and time again. And so you might be thinking, well, what does this concept have to do with me? The truth is, we can apply the 80-20 rule in our everyday life. You see, time is our most precious resource, and how we use it can make all the difference. Many of us fall into the trap of thinking that working longer hours will automatically lead to better results. We keep ourselves busy, tackling multiple tasks at once, but often fail to achieve the desired outcomes. This is because being busy is not the same as being productive. Let me give you an example. A common mistake many of us make is picking a few goals and going for them simultaneously, while evenly spreading our efforts. The problem with this is that our energy is limited, and by slowly progressing over a multitude of things at once, you may get frustrated and discouraged at some point, since the results just wouldn't match your efforts. Having 5 things at 20% completion may not be as rewarding as accomplishing one thing entirely. This is where the magic of the Pareto Principle comes in. You can rank your goals based on their impact on your life. Grab a notepad and make a list of what you want to achieve. Ask yourself, if I could have one thing right now, what would make the most productive impact on my life? There's a good chance that the top 1 or 2 goals would make the most drastic changes, while the rest would simply complement them. This way, you're able to spend more time on the 20% that give you the most satisfaction and commit less time to the other 80%. You can even use the Pareto Principle on your friendships. What you'll most likely find is that 20% of the friends give you 80% of the fulfillment and joy that you get from social interactions. The other 80% of your so-called friends only account for 20% fulfillment. Now, this doesn't mean that you should cut off those friendships completely, but you don't have to spend an equal amount of time with everyone. It's much better to spend more time with the 20% of close friends that add the most value and joy to your life than to have a bunch of really distant friends. And that pretty much sums up the Pareto Principle. It's not just some fancy theory. You can apply it to almost every aspect of your life, your goals, relationships, and daily activities. It encourages you to think efficiently and focus on what is actually important. By doubling down on the things that truly matter, you'll create an even bigger impact in your life. So, try to think about some of the things that you could double down on and which ones you should eliminate. As Peter Drucker said, efficiency is doing things right. Effectiveness is doing the right things. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and have an amazing week.